Ancora?
Margarete.
Un'altra volta, ma adesso vorrei proprio sentire la musica delle parole.
Margarete.
Shh. Spoilers ahead.
Who the hell is Jodie Domingue Gray?
Hi everybody and welcome to Cinemattraction. I'm a Heat Guy Jay and along with me as always is my partner in crime, cold to the bone,
Margarete.
Dominic the Coco. Oh, so what are we going to be talking about today?
Inglourious Basterds and I nearly called it
The Heat Guy Jay movie?
and the Hateful Eight. What have you watched this week?
This week I have seen, I saw Avatar.
You saw Avatar 2.
Yes, The Way of Water. Boring.
I liked it.
I thought it was boring. I got bored of looking at the people.
Yeah, fine.
And
I
this
didn't think
morning...
that'd be your cup of tea, you know. I was watching it, I've seen it twice, and I thought, I like it, but this isn't up Jason's.
Yeah, you were right. You were definitely right. The other thing was I found that Sigourney Weaver's voice with the young
Weird.
Jarring.
Yeah,
I
really
found it really
weird.
jarring.
Yeah.
I also saw this morning Triangle of Sadness.
Oh, I've been meaning to see that.
Yes,
How's that?
I think you will enjoy it.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to say I enjoyed probably 3/4 of the movie. The last act I thought was a little bit slow paced. I thought it sort of it didn't have Woody in it either, because you know, without Woody Harrelson, you know what I mean? Because the whole film lights up when Woody comes on screen. That's
The world
thing.
lights up.
The world, yeah,
Absolutely.
the world. And one of the first shots you see of him is when he's at the captain's table and he's at a slant. Which is really amusing because he's slanty.
He's one of my favourite performers. So
I think he's amazing. I love Woody Harrelson as a person
love him
and
in
an
the
actor.
thing I saw him in.
Yeah, I do love
that
him.
new Woodsy Harrelson movie. I saw Pearl. I've worked really, really weird hours this week, but I've still found the time to watch Pearl, which I really recommend. It's Ty West's follow-up to X.
Right, so this is the backstory of Pearl from X.
Excellent.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Right,
And I thoroughly recommend it, especially if you really liked X. It's just watch it. Don't go in with any preconceived notions or anything like that. Just go in.
Apart from the fact you're going to see him, a homicidal maniac.
And then some.
Okay.
I watched Tenebrae last night.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I saw that. I thought that was a
11 o'clock
Christmas
last
Day
night.
movie.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
But but you were like, I just need that little top up, didn't you?
That's a bingo.
Yeah.
Inglourious Basterds is an alternate history World War II film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. A critical and commercial success, taking $321 million from a $70 million budget, receiving 8 Oscar nominations, with Christoph Waltz taking home the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, and duly deserved.
Yeah.
Tarantino originally wrote the script in 1998, and it was apparently ready to film in 2002, with Adam Sandler in the frame to portray Donnie Donovitz. Tarantino notably pushed back, choosing to film Kill Bill while making further refinements to the script. The title was inspired by Enzo G. Castellari's 1978 action film, The Inglourious Basterds, which is a fantastic film full of perilous stunts and silly, prolonged slow-mo sequences. It's fantastic, thoroughly recommended. Tarantino's film is not a remake of that. A quick synopsis. It's Nazi-occupied Paris, and there are 2 plots simultaneously taking place to assassinate and slaughter Nazi leaders during the premiere of a propaganda film. On the one hand, we have beautiful French-Jewish cinema owner Shoshana Dreyfus plotting to trap and incinerate Nazi officers during the screening. On the other hand, we have a British plot, aided by a German actress double agent, to draw a team of Jewish American soldiers, known as the Bastards, into the screening armed with weapons and dynamite to annihilate the awful attendees. Meanwhile, evil SS Colonel Hans Landa watches on, tasked to capture the bastards, round up Jewish citizens. Landa quickly catches wind and attempts to manipulate the events to his advantage. What do you think of Inglourious Basterds?
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love the brilliant opening shot of where Lapidite's daughter pulls across the sheet.
Monsieur Lapidite.
Yeah, the sheet on the washing line.
And reveals
the approaching Nazis
Scum.
coming up. Yeah. I thought that was a really good opening opening shot.
You go from 1 to 100 in terms of tense.
Yes, yeah, you really do, because the opening shot is where it's just like cutting wood. It's so serene, in the countryside. One thing about this film and the other film we're going to talk about is the sound design. The tick of the clock in Lapidite's house. The what's the word? Creak of Lander's like leather coat and everything.
Yeah, sure.
It's sort of like, that sort of. Yeah. You can hear all those little subtle
within that little room, that little farmhouse, but also knowing that no one can make a peep underneath it.
Exactly.
So you do hear everything a bit more.
Yeah.
A bit more clearer.
But I do find that with Tarantino's movies, there's lots of sequences with prolonged sequences of just quiet, almost like a play.
Yes.
And then the music sort of just goes like. That kind of thing.
Do you not think that that's kind of like a Scorsese thing?
A little bit.
Because he has these moments.
I prefer how Tarantino uses them, like we mentioned with Kill Bill. That music, that sort of I can't remember what the song is, but when Lucy Liu, she steps out of her sandals and actually puts her feet on the snow, and it sort of goes.
Yeah.
You get that whole sort of beat with what you're watching as well.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Shoshana, I think she's being picked up to be taken. She's being picked up to be taken to the restaurant.
Okay.
And as
get your ass in the car.
As Helsing, or Hellstrom, or whatever it's Hellstrom, I think his name is, gets like out of the car. You hear sort of like the bang, sort of, and then music starts with the door bang, or the door opening. It's kind of like those things where it's like a cue for the music. I really like that in films where you get this sort of motion and then whatever the music is or something sort of starts.
It's like a cue, isn't it?
Yeah, like a cue.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy that.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good point.
And I think Tarantino uses that really well in his movies.
I would agree.
And also sometimes the percussiveness of his music, sort of very sort of drum orientated.
Yeah, maybe.
That sort of marches up the sort of tension.
Yeah, it's that kind of...
I mean, I thought the use of the David Bowie song, put it out fast with gasoline.
Cat People, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an incongruous
it is,
song
isn't it?
to put into a World War II
This is what I mean.
film,
but it kind of fits the mood of the
We'll be talking
film.
about that. There's some odd needle drops in Hateful Eight as well.
There is.
I think this might be my masterpiece. As mentioned before, I think Tarantino had a version of the script ready to go in 1998. And obviously chose to do Kill Bill before it.
Yeah.
But the script is superb.
Yeah.
The dialogue exchanges are excellent. It's funny, it's tense, it twists, it turns. There are 4 different languages spoken.
Yeah, there's Italian, German, English and French in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Though, just to say on the script, though he would win his Oscar for Django, his next movie, for screenplay, wouldn't win it for this, which is just bonkers.
I don't understand that.
This is a way better script, in my opinion.
It definitely is.
I think only a quarter of the film is actually spoken in English, which is interesting. You struggle with subtitles typically.
I do.
How did you get on with this?
Well, because I've seen this film so many times,
you were kind of cool with it.
I kind of know what the. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I can read the subtitles, sort of like speed read it,
right?
Because I know the gist of what they're. If I miss any bits, I know the gist of the scene anyway.
Yes.
So like with the strudel thing.
Strudel.
Bit.
Wait for the cream.
Yeah, the strudel here is not so terrible, isn't it? Wait for the cream. Oh, I love his face when he does that.
Though this may be his best film on a technical filmmaking level, my favourite is still perhaps Pulp Fiction, presumably possibly for its idiosyncrasies.
Okay.
Maybe. But speaking of multiple accents, it is the British commando Lieutenant Archie Hickox.
Yes.
Whose wonky German accent initially raises sort of suspicion with the German officers. And referring back to Pulp Fiction, Tarantino appears to be interested in cultural differences.
Yes.
Such as the Royale with cheese. And the beer in the movie theatre, as you get in Pulp Fiction. In this instance, Hickox well and truly reveals his identity and completely gives the game away when he gives a British hand gesture.
Yes.
Instead of the typical German hand gesture while ordering drinks.
Yes. Germans always order it with...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Until this movie came along.
Americans often use the 3 last digits, so they use the little finger, the ring finger, and the middle finger. I've seen The Rock do that for 3.
Okay.
we tend to use the middle three, don't we? The three longest in the hand.
Like, Wolverine's claws.
Yeah, like Wolverine's claws. Yeah. The Germans use and Europeans, I think, use the thumb. And although also the Germans, I believe, put their wedding ring on their other hand as well, don't they? On their right hand.
Dominant hand.
Yes.
Or okay.
On their right hand.
Right.
On the right hand.
I thought it was usually the non-dominant hand that you put your wedding ring on. Is that right?
No.
Okay, you typically
always wear it on your left.
Oh.
Because there's a thing saying that, and specifically on what they call the wedding ring finger,
Your ring finger.
because it's supposed to be like the vein that goes to the heart, and it's an old, sort of
old wives.
I don't even wear. I don't even wear a wedding ring. I'm naughty.
You should. You're a lovely wife.
Neither does my wife.
Okay.
We don't really like wearing wedding rings, but we know we're married, so it's fine.
Okay, so it's an alternate history revisionist plot.
Yes,
right?
and to be honest, I love it.
Yeah.
I do love his version.
I wasn't expecting this.
I just wish this
when
had
originally
actually
seeing it.
been, if only, this
for
is
sure.
what had happened.
Hitler and his awful Nazis are duly slaughtered at the premiere.
Although he's so funny, isn't he? Hitler in this.
He's very comic.
He's really comic-y because he's like, oh no, all furious, and then he's like,
furious.
and then he's like, what was that? What was that? Who or what is a so and so?
Right.
Like the guy's name.
Sure.
And then he comes, he's and then it's like, this is the finest work you've ever done, my dear. He says,
right,
in quite an almost homosexual sort of way.
Sure.
Because Goebbels starts to cry, doesn't he?
He takes it very personally. The praise of Caesar.
Yeah.
But yeah, he and his awful Nazis are duly slaughtered at the premiere in glorious style.
Yes, Inglourious. Yes. Oh, you're the one for the puns.
It's certainly
Wonderful.
lovely to watch Nazis being scalped, shot, and torched.
Yes.
There are certainly criticisms on media violence and perhaps also themes of duality at play.
Right.
Because we certainly enjoy watching the fascists being torn to pieces just as much as the Nazi officers enjoy watching Friedrich Zoller tear through Allied soldiers during the movie, right?
Oh, I suppose that's true, isn't it, really, if you think about it? Yeah.
Sure. Themes of vengeance also play out. The atrocities carried out against the Jewish people during the Holocaust by the Nazis are somewhat spun as the Jewish soldiers cruelly slaughter and scalp the Nazis.
Yes.
The Jewish soldiers use cruelty, much like the Nazis used cruelty on the Jews. The oppressed being the oppressors, I suppose.
Yes.
Choosing to be cruel to those being cruel to them. Vengeance can be fun to watch, but it does come at a cost, and I think Tarantino understands that. Certainly the slaughter of the Nazis is great, but much like Sharon Tate being alive at the end of Once Upon a Time, the reality is much more grim and painful and bittersweet. Yeah. It's not the prettiest film. This film,
visually it's not really
movie.
No. I really like this film. I don't know. I mean, there's so much going on in it for me because you've got what's going on with Shoshana and her plot with Marcel to burn down the cinema,
to torch the cinema with the Nazis in there.
Yeah,
that's the
and
plot.
then you've got the Bastards, who are trying to infiltrate and then get into the premiere and but none of them know they're doing it, do they?
No, they don't.
So Shoshana never actually teams up or anything.
Plots. No, that's what's so cool about it.
It is, yeah.
It's got like Western aspects to it as well. So Brad Pitt's Aldo Rain is the renegade looking to take down the bandits and the scumbags with his merry band of scalping outcasts. Yeah. Right. So there's kind of a cowboy kind of Western aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's got like kind of westerny music in it as well.
It's got Morricone score in it as well,
which is very Western.
Which is extremely Western.
Yeah. The only thing I need to point out is there is a leaf on Wilhelm Vicky in the forest scene.
Yeah.
And he's got a big green leaf on him, like not on his shoulder, but just sort of lower, just like sort of resting near his gun. And I just wonder whether Tarantino left it because it just fell off a tree, or whether Tarantino was like, "No, I want this leaf on you."
What does the leaf represent?
I don't know, but usually they say filmmakers don't make mistakes, don't they? Things are there for a reason. So
what is it?
And it's not a little leaf. It's not like a little. It's a big old leaf that falls on there. And every time I watch it, I'm like, I really wish I wasn't so detail orientated because I always look at that. I can't look at anything except
not see that leaf on his lapel.
Except his leaf. And I do love the entrance to the grand entrance to the Bear Jew. The golem with his club.
Could you have seen? I think Eli Roth is absolutely fantastic in that role.
I do.
Could you have seen Adam Sandler do that?
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry.
No, not with that. No, not like that. Not like, hey everybody, it's me, Donnie Don. Oh, no, actually saying that. No, I can't see him. No, I can't see him. No.
Okay, so what do you think of the performance then? Brad Pitt is
brilliant.
Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Brilliant.
Also known as Aldo the Apache.
He is so dry and so deadpan in it.
Yeah.
That he's so funny. It's
Perfect.
like when he does the Golami bit, and his face is just so Golami. You know, he's just, and he doesn't laugh.
No,
really, in the whole film.
His character is like a renegade guerrilla bootlegger, isn't it, from Tennessee? He's got like he's been lynched.
His throat has been cut.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he's tried to been lynched or something before. So he's known. He's had some scrapes.
And I like that because it gives him a very sort of tough,
it's
rough
hard as
look,
nails.
doesn't it?
Yeah, jumped out of a chuffing.
And I love the bit where he goes, you know, I'll be chewed out. Chewed out. You'll be shot for this.
Unlike Tyler Durden, Aldo Rain does not want to get into a fight in a basement.
No. Oh, God, no. He's very sarcastic about that, isn't he?
I think that's so... You were saying about details and Tarantino and his eye for detail and purpose and stuff. That must be in there for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't want to get a fight in a basement.
Yeah.
He must have written that for a reason.
As I said, these directors, you're thinking,
so what does belief mean?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it means something.
Okay, so what do you think of... This is the first time I'd seen Melanie Laurent as Shoshana.
Yeah, I've only seen her in one other film. It was on Netflix, where it was like a sci-fi one where she was in a pod. You saw it too.
I didn't like it.
Was it called Oxygen?
Oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my favourite film, but she was really good in it.
Was. I mean, the film was all right, but I mean, no, I'd never seen her in this before.
I thought she was really good. Her parents were obviously slaughtered by Landa's men at the beginning.
Yes, I was going to mention that bit at the beginning. I think Landa lets her go. I think he could have made that shot.
I really think so. Yeah, I think
that's why he says poops. And he's thinking, I'll save you for another day.
Yeah. Yeah,
because he's a sadistic killer, and he's thinking, "Oh no, I'll let that mouse run away now."
I
I'm the
beg
cat.
to differ. Having watched it again, I think we'll talk about him in a moment.
Okay.
We'll get through the other performances because this movie absolutely belongs to Christoph Waltz. What do you think of Michael Fassbender's?
I love Michael Fassbender. This is the first film I think I ever saw him in.
No.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the first.
Okay.
Brilliant. He was good at. He was good in it.
Okay.
But I didn't really know him as an actor, so I just thought he was really good in it.
Yeah, he's multilinguist as well. He can speak German.
Yes.
He's Northern Irish born.
And his German is really good.
Yeah, because I think he's got German parent. Well, his name suggests that he's got German parentage.
The problem is, you see, like my maternal grandfather.
Right.
He could speak. My maternal grandfather could speak Flemish, French, German.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of languages, we never knew why.
Oh,
we never knew why.
Man of Mystery. Speaking of Man of Mystery, Mike Myers is in this.
Yes. No, all I was going to say is that Mike Fassbender spoke it without an accent.
Right.
My grandfather would speak it without an accent, and everyone would say they would never know where he was from because he spoke with a neutral, a neutral accent, and nobody could ever pinpoint where he was, from. Unlike, Berlin or Munich.
Right.
Anything like that. Let me just address this. We are having some banging going on. If you can hear it on the recording.
Somebody's
we are
some
very
work done
sorry,
upstairs.
but upstairs our neighbours are banging and putting something up. So we do apologise if there's any sort of banging noise in the background.
You can't help your neighbours, unfortunately.
No.
So what do you think of Til Schweiger's Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz?
Oh, I love Stiglitz. Oh, what about the bit where he's like, you've moved up in the world, Stiglitz.
First time I've seen Til Schweiger in anything, and I've since watched Uwe Boll's Far Cry movie.
Right, he's in that, is he?
He's in that. He's terrible in it.
I think he says about all his insubordinations.
Indeed.
How that's pretty thingy.
Indeed.
Incredible. I love the scene where you see the montage with Samuel L. Jackson narrating it, then you've got him, especially when he's like stabbing through the pillow in the guy's face, and when he's trying to stick the fist down the guy's throat.
Mouth. Oh god. But he sells it though. Til Schweiger's fantastic in that.
And especially when he's like, "Say goodbye to your Nazi balls," or something. He's brilliant.
He's fantastic, and again, the script is fantastic.
Yeah,
Those
quite the
lines are
loquacious
so
type.
Is that what you
Do you know that film actually taught me that word because I had to look it up.
I think samesies. I think exactly the same.
Loquacious, yeah.
What do you think of Christoph Waltz as Standartenführer Hans Lander.
Amazing.
It's a perfect performance.
It's fantastic.
Indeed.
He is everything that he embodies everything that he needs to in this character.
Yeah.
He's got the menace.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about Tarantino's films,
Yeah.
where you get comedy and then you get great moments of violence. Really violent scenes.
Similar
I mean, like this bit with Christoph Waltz, you know, where he lurches forward and he kills Frau Hammerschmark, von Hammerschmark. You know, that strangling.
Oh, it's horrible. That's Tarantino, isn't it?
Yeah,
those hands.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, but what I'm saying, because he did actually made her unconscious, didn't he?
Yeah.
Diane Kruger.
Argento used to do that. So whenever you'd see like the black gloves the black glove killer in his movies, because his movies had a load of black glove killers in them, they were his hands.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if did he really knock her out doing that? That's really
apparently he made her unconscious.
Oh, what
and
a
if you look at her
scumbag.
face,
That's so horrible.
you can see she looks like she's being choked.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like a. There's another
I
scene.
couldn't imagine Christoph Waltz choking anybody, so it makes sense. I think that Tarantino would step in because I could see him doing that.
There's another scene in Hateful Eight where Jennifer Jason Leigh. That's it when Kurt Russell smashes the guitar against the post in the haberdashery.
Yeah,
the look on Jennifer Jason Leigh's face is really shock and horror.
Yeah.
And I don't think she knew he was going to do it.
Wasn't it like an antique guitar or something? Right? There's a really special guitar
I don't know.
They trashed and everyone was a bit sort of...
I don't
Why
know,
did you
but the
do
look
that?
on her face is... I perceive it when I'm watching it.
Right.
To be proper shock.
Yeah.
Like she actually didn't know he was going to do that because it looks like a natural, really shocked reaction.
Yeah.
And something she probably couldn't do 3 or 4 scenes of.
They probably only had one antique guitar, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
out of
like
all the
in
things, even
Alien,
when
isn't it?
when her brother, you know, is killed in it,
Right.
the look of horror in her face is still not the same as the look of the horror when Russell trashes the guitar.
He's a driven super detective, like Sherlock. He's even got Sherlock's pipe.
Yes. Oh, that
one
massive pipe. I mean, that's hilarious.
So you brought something up earlier. He alludes to simply being an agent of the Nazis. I don't think he's a psychopathic killer at all. He alludes to being simply an agent. Like I
think he enjoys it, though.
Nazis brought me into French cow country or something like that. Like he seems to be an agent of the Nazis, not necessarily like they
not really
need,
rooting for them.
I think he probably doesn't need them.
Right. He's just working for them.
They need him. He doesn't need them. He's working for them. So I wonder whether I wonder whether he really entirely believes in the movement, if that makes sense.
Right.
I know
obviously he doesn't. Obviously he doesn't because he sells them out, doesn't
because
he?
he sells them out. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if he is a psychopathic killer, but I think he is an opportunist. I think he will do things in order to further himself. Right. So such as killing.
Yeah, but he's obviously killed before because nobody could launch themselves and strangle somebody like that if they hadn't done it before.
No, for sure. But I think he's doing it for his benefit. I don't think he's doing it. Obviously, he's in the process of selling.
I mean, when he kills her, he sort of sits up and he just sort of dusts himself, pulls him. You know,
it's a bit of
like
business.
he's just a bit of business. What he's done,
he's trying to do deals with everybody. From the Bastards to Mr. Lapidie. He's like, I'll let you and your family go.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
You get to understand precisely who and what he is in that opening scene at the farmhouse. He goes from goofy to
he does,
deadly serious in a switch. It was originally going to be young Leo, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, this was the Hans Lander was originally going to be played by young Leo.
Whoa!
Because young Leo, I believe he's got like Italian and German heritage, and he can speak a little bit of German. He can speak a bit of Italian.
Although I would have loved to seen him in this.
No.
No. You've got to give it to Volst.
Yeah.
He Volst in there and took over that character and just made it his own.
Indeed.
I did want to mention that I do love the end with the revenge of the big face, giant face. And you've got all.
It's like Star Wars, isn't it? No,
is it?
Do you not feel it's that kind of overly dramatic kind of Star Wars? Sci-fi kind of Flash Gordon.
It's just so over the top and so comical. Like
So
just
grandiose.
watching Hitler get his face just shot to pieces is just hilarious.
While Shoshana laughs at everybody on the big screen as it's torch. Yeah, it's so over the top. I think that was the thing that Tarantino struggled with. He didn't know how to end it.
And I just love that scene with where you know, like you've got Dominic and Coco Margaretti, and he's like, can you get down there in 3 seconds? He's like, I've got her.
Yeah.
And then he comes down thinking, he's going, champagne? Shoots the guy right in the head.
It just, yeah.
Do you know that you can get a YouTube video of just that little bit?
Can you?
That little clip. I love that little
we
clip.
might have to use that at the beginning of this then. Champagne. Let's see if I can rob it somehow. Closing thoughts. What do you think?
Well, I think...
This movie's big.
It's big, yeah. It's to be honest, it's one of... I don't know if it's my... I keep sort of going between this and Hateful Eight. So these are my two favourite Tarantino films.
I think this is his best film, as I said, but I still prefer
The
Pulp
problem
Fiction.
is, when I'm watching each film, I'm thinking, this is my favourite.
Okay.
So I can't really...
It's the mark of a good, like a master filmmaker, is that you've got your opinion of his best or your favourite just changes upon watch. That is
My favourite changed after I watched Hateful Eight, but if I watch Inglourious Basterds again,
sure,
it'll change back to
change
that again.
back to
And every time it ends, I just think it's great when he's like, you know, that this might be my masterpiece.
I think it might, on a technical level, I think it is.
I think it's brilliant,
Yeah.
and I love the music at the end. That do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Fantastic. I would agree. Again, I think Pulp Fiction is my favourite.
Right.
Have you ever seen Jackie Brown? Do you think?
Yes.
What do you reckon of Jackie Brown?
It's one of my least favourites.
What do you think of Reservoir Dogs as well, his debut?
I think it is maybe a 3-star film. I like
Really?
it, yeah.
Okay.
I like
it's
it,
a really
but
small scale movie.
it's a very, like you said, I mean, for the time, it was really quite a shocking and incredible film.
Yeah, the mutilation of the police officer and all that kind of
And
stuff.
there'd never been a bank job film done where
You
you
don't see
didn't
the
see
bank
it.
job.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't see you just see the aftermath.
You see them
and the
running
before.
away.
Yeah, you see the preparation and the aftermath.
Indeed. Much like Hateful Eight, it's kind of all happens in one room. It's kind of like a stage play.
Tarantino's films are very much like plays, aren't
very
they?
talky.
Yeah, very talky, and I think that's what I love about them.
Except
really.
for like Kill Bill, like that one's that's not a stage play.
Well, no, but they're not really my favourite ones either. So.
Oh, there we are. The Hateful Eight is a Western mystery thriller written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. A critical and commercial success, originally conceived by Tarantino as a novel before deciding to make it into a film. The Hateful Eight was abandoned prior to production after the script was leaked online. The project was reignited after Tarantino conducted a live reading of the script and consequently completed a fresh draft of it. Grossing $156 million from a $60 million budget, receiving Oscar nominations for Robert Richardson's cinematography and Jennifer Jason Leigh's supporting performance, winning Ennio Morricone his only Oscar for Best Original Score. A quick synopsis, it is 1877. Union veteran turned bounty hunter Major Marquise Warren is en route to Red Rock, Wyoming with his deceased bounties when his horse succumbs to a blizzard. Warren is granted a ride on a passing stagecoach driven by a man named O.B., inhabited by fellow bounty hunter the hangman John Ruth and fugitive/bounty Daisy Domergue. Warren and Ruth have met before and reminisce before picking up Chris Mannix, who is also en route to Red Rock to become its new sheriff. Tensions on board the stagecoach rise. So, shall we say, the band seek refuge from the blizzard at Minnie's haberdashery. Warren is surprised to arrive and see Mexican Bob tending to the place in Minnie's absence. Also seeking refuge are hangman Oswaldo Mowbray, cowboy Joe Gage, and Confederate General Sanford Smithers. Ruth is suspicious of the other inhabitants, and rightly so, as the Mowbray, Bob and Gage are not who they claim to be and are revealed to be part of a plot to help Domergue escape. What do you think of The Hateful Eight?
I think it is Quentin Tarantino's epic western whodunit.
Oh, look at you.
I'm so pleased that the cinematographer got an Oscar.
He was nominated.
Oh, he was nominated. Oh, he didn't get the Oscar.
No.
Oh, what a shame.
Ennio Morricone won, though.
Oh, well, I'm pleased about
Which is
that.
great.
Was that for that theme? That
For this score.
Oh,
yeah.
right, yeah. I mean, I love the beginning of the film, and I love how slow it is. How it opens very, very slow, and it's almost oppressive. Like the theme is quite an oppressive, slightly sinister
I would
theme.
agree. Yeah, definitely.
And the symbolism of Jesus,
yes,
a
that's good
man
point.
who hanged on a cross instead of by the neck.
Right. Okay.
Could that be?
Possibly.
Or am I reading too much into it?
There's a shot, just to explain, there's a shot right at the beginning where they pass a Jesus statue.
A long shot.
A really long shot where they
Yeah.
pass it. Well, see, I thought it was about salvation. Like beyond that point, there's no salvation for those characters.
Right, okay.
Perhaps.
I thought maybe it was because maybe I'm just reading too much into it. You know.
Well, possibly, but like you said earlier, Tarantino probably put these things in there for a reason.
And also, I like that this is the sort of film that when you're watching it, you study it, because it's all about facial expressions, sly or questioning looks.
Sure, for sure.
You watch Samuel L. Jackson, as soon as he goes into Minnie's haberdashery, he's like, okay, everybody's wearing hats.
Yeah.
I noticed something is really weird.
Something's off.
And then, you've got the whole thing with Senior Bob where he's like, oh, I got the laissez-faire there for the hats. A laissez-faire attitude for the hats.
Flawless.
That's right, Senior Bob. It's like the bit where he's trying to hold the... I think he actually said this... Because the way that he says it almost sounds like it was an ad-lib when they're trying to keep the door shut by banging it shut with the planks of wood.
Yeah, hold the door shut.
Because the door's, broken.
There's a blizzard.
And there's a blizzard and the door's broken. Yeah. And he's questioning him, and Senior Bob goes like, oh, no, I'll just keep the effing door closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it actually seems like Damien Bashir is actually sort of really... almost aggravated.
Possibly, yeah.
Slightly, because it actually seems like...
do you think Tarantino allows his actors to ad-lib? Knowing how his scripts are?
I do wonder, because, one of my favourite bits, for me, the MVP of this film is Walton Goggins.
Yes, definitely.
And he's like, is that really the head of Major Marquez Warren? And he's like, yes, and this is really my head. Is that really in the script?
I've not read the script, but it wouldn't surprise me, Wouldn't surprise me if it was written in. But it's the actors that kind of bring it to life.
Yeah, like the bit where they allow him on like they're being friends, and he's going, "Oh, you two want to go and make snow angels?"
Do you think the antique guitar was ad-libbed? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was. No. I think Kurt Russell knew he was going to break it.
He was going to, but nobody else knew.
No.
Right.
I don't know if the other actors knew, but I think
to get that shock and horror.
Jennifer Jason Leigh definitely didn't know.
Right, okay.
Because she seemed stunned by it to me, her performance. Either that, or she did know, and she's just a really good actress. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, she was nominated for this.
Well, she is a really good actress anyway.
She's a very good actress. So what do you think of the setting?
I love it. It's like a play.
Yeah, it's like a single room.
I want to see a play of this. On the West End or on Broadway or something.
Do you think that live reading kind of reignited? Like, hey, this is like a play. I can kind of shoot it like a play.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And the cinematography in this film is beautiful.
Yeah.
The setting.
Yeah, it is.
To be honest, when this film comes out in 4K, I'm on it. Because this film is going to look incredible.
I would say so.
It's done in 70.
It's 70 millimeters.
Yeah,
epic. It's a beautiful film, but also a really ugly film.
This is the thing, there's great beauty in it, and also moments of gore and violence.
Well, that's the thing, these beautiful landscapes, but they're so bleak.
Yeah, well, they are bleak, but it is...
to the beauty of it, perhaps.
I think that's why Tarantino shows some of the actual bits where they'll be, like he shows the bit with the oak trees.
Yeah.
That's a scene where they're actually in at one point with the apple blossom by White Stripes section.
What a really weird choice.
That is so odd, isn't it?
But it works.
I know it does. And I love the Lincoln letter. We have to talk about the Lincoln letter, don't we?
He uses it, Go on, please.
Major Marcus Warren uses it to disarm white folks. Because black folks are only safe when white folks are disarmed.
That's the quote from the film.
That's the quote from the film, yeah. And that's actually what he's got it for.
It's like a bulletproof vest, isn't it?
Yes,
It's like a Kevlar vest for him.
It's kind of like, I'm protecting myself because if I show you this, and if you look at Kurt Russell in it when he reads the bit about Mary Todd,
Oh, Mary Todd.
He looks like he's on the verge. He looks like he's on the verge of crying, doesn't he?
Well, honey. Yeah, like you say, it's a stage play, but it's so immersive and it's such a cramped place, but it's so vast, so big,
and I love like how deep they get into the Wellenkamp story, and you get the sound design in the background. You hear the fire, the burning in the background, like in Revenge of the Sith, where you hear the Sand People, where he says, "Remember what you told me about the Sand People," and you hear this in the background or something. And I love Walton Goggins where he's like sitting there and he's like really, going at black people.
It's quite reprehensible.
And then Samuel Jackson gets his gun, he's like, oh no! But he just completely doesn't speak. Are you coming talking politics? I'm just going to have myself a nap and consider how lucky I am. I just love that.
For a guy that does, he disarms people.
Yeah.
potentially volatile people, but
Yes.
he knows how to weave his way around people as well.
He knows how to manipulate people.
He does.
That's what he knows.
That's it. Yes,
and he
that's it.
manipulates
Everyone.
Sanford Smithers
Well,
into killing him.
Yeah, he sits down very respectfully at one point, and then he winds up, doing that to him. He disarms Walton Mannix, as you said. He disarms Ruth with the
Yes.
letter. He knows how to manipulate. As
The
you
only
say,
way
and
he
sort
can
of work his
disarm
way
Mannix, though, is actually with a gun.
Is with the gun.
Because
But they
Mannix
ally
doesn't
in the
believe anything
anything
that Major Warren says.
Warren has to say.
And John Ruth doesn't believe anything that Chris Maddox has to say either.
Yeah, there's a
Because he keeps going, oh, that's Halls.
it's a twisting story of deception and
It is, yeah.
dishonour among thieves,
It is.
if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to say that I love the setting. It is so small and so cramped. You know exactly. Everybody's got a spot in there. So
And it's
Smithers
you've
is
got to
sitting by the
study it.
fire.
Yeah.
Gage is sitting in the corner eating peanuts, whatever it is
Yeah.
he's eating, and drinking his
Brandy or
his
something.
brandy. Everybody's got a spot within
Yeah.
there. It's so cramped, but it's so immersive.
Yeah.
And when those characters are in their little spots, it looks so big. But also, you've got a whole other world going on underneath the floorboards. Again, much like
Exactly.
the floorboards in Inglourious Basterds, there's something going on underneath.
Is this where we go, say goodbye, say adios to your huevos? I every time I watch this film, I forget that Channing Tatum is in it.
He's under the floorboards.
I
the whole
forget
time.
he's in it.
Yeah,
until
for
he's
sure.
in it.
And then he's all of a sudden
And I'm
Jodie's
like,
there.
oh, Jodie Domingue Gray.
Doming Gray. There's a wonderfully sort of Hitchcockian aspect as a consequence with him hiding under the floorboards and everybody having their own identities and certainly the twists. There is a
Do you
Hitchcockian
have
aspect.
a favourite
Patiently-
scene in this? Because my favourite scene in this is the chapter where you see the four passengers come.
Right, into the haberdashery with
And
Minnie
set it all
and
up.
Sweet
Sweet Dave.
Sweet Dave, sorry.
They kill everybody,
They slaughter
and
everybody.
then they set it all up.
Yeah.
And then you see a very depressing scene where Michael Madsen goes out, Grouch Douglas.
Right.
And there's that song, isn't it? Now you're on your own, or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
something.
absolutely.
And it's so sad when he goes out to that. He goes out to kill the poor. What is he? A coach, like a baggage handler or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what's going on here, and he's just enjoying himself. He's just like, yeah, great, but I'm going to kill another
I'm going to
person.
just slaughter, yeah. There are some really weird musical left turns in this as well. Such as Apple Blossom by the White Stripes. Now You're All Alone is by David Hess.
Right.
Or is by David Hess. It's taken from a Wes Craven movie that I can't really recommend called Last House on the Left.
Oh, okay.
When I heard that, I'm like, are they using that song from Last House on the Left?
Okay.
It's so strange, but it works.
Yeah, well, it does work. Yeah, it gives it atmosphere, that scene,
Yeah.
and it actually makes it more poignant and sadder, really. I
Yeah.
think than you would. You feel sadder for the poor guy.
Yeah.
Through that music and the long prolonged,
Through that weird...
Grouch Douglas walking along, looking at the blood, thinking, "Oh, I know where he's gone."
Yeah. They use Morricone's Reagan's theme from Exodus 2, which is a bit weird, and Daisy plays an Australian folk ballad.
Yes,
on that guitar. Indeed.
Yeah.
As already mentioned, Ennio Morricone composed the score. This was his first Western for 30 odd years.
Right.
And he would win his only Oscar for it. And
Oh, I'm so glad he did.
We talk about Ennio Morricone quite a lot on this podcast.
We do.
So it's so good to say when he actually...
But he's done so
his
many
brilliant work is actually
really
recognised.
brilliant themes.
It
I
absolutely
mean,
is.
like the Untouchables theme.
Yes.
Oh, that is spectacular.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear that, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun, fantastic.
Yeah.
And it also sounds a bit like a machine gun.
Yeah, like a rattling Tommy gun.
Yeah, like a rattling. Yeah,
absolutely.
He is brilliant. I can't say anything bad about the guy. Can we talk about that warm black dingus?
If you wish. Please be PG, though, for our audience. Yeah.
That scene.
What does that scene kind of mean to you, though?
I don't really know what that's... did it really happen? That's the question.
Well, he could be the unreliable narrator.
He
knows how to manipulate people, so he's just telling Smithers, an arch enemy, the last thing he wants to hear. Yeah.
And I think the picture, because he says in it, you're starting to see in pictures now, aren't you? Right? I think what you see in the film, without talking about, because obviously we're talking about an 18-rated film.
Hopefully, you've already seen the movies. If you're
hopefully
listening
you've
to this.
seen this scene with Chester Smithers and Major
Marquis
Warren.
Yeah. So he's naked. He's walking in a big blizzard.
Yes.
And he just pines for a
And
blanket.
he gets
It's
Sanford
torture.
Smithers' son to perform a sexual act upon him, doesn't he?
Sure.
Or that's what he says.
That's what he claims. Yeah.
I don't actually think he does.
I wonder if that's the case.
And I'll tell you why.
He's a bounty hunter. He might have just killed him through it as a bounty or something.
Because when he shoots Smithers.
You're quite good.
When he does shoot him, he puts his gun in his holster and sort of strikes a pose and then looks over at Senior Bob and smiles.
Bob. So it's possible, yeah.
So almost like, got him.
Again, could be complete nonsense. Might have been real. In which case, there's
Trapped him.
Staggering cruelty.
He trapped him.
Sure,
Yeah.
he trapped him.
But if you think about it, the
Does it
characters
go
in it are
against-
cruel.
does
The
it-
characters are cruel, though.
Sure, but does it go against what we know of him prior to that? Because usually if he's one-on-one with a guy of some stature, he tries to just manipulate them to evade them, right?
Yes, yeah.
So by being so cruel to him, does that not seem kind of odd?
That seems odd. It doesn't seem like he would do that because, like he said, I don't bring my bounties in alive and all this other stuff.
Right.
I just shoot them.
Yes, that's what I think, yeah.
So he's not going to walk a guy for 2 hours in the snow. Bother to do that, is he?
Right, I don't think so.
No. He's going to shoot him and stick him on the back of his horse.
Yeah.
So it was a story, but I think the
But
person's...
then the Lincoln letter was a lie.
The Lincoln letter, yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is that when you see that scene, that is not what he's actually saying. It's what Bruce Dern's Sanford Smithers is seeing in his mind.
It's picturing, and
Yeah.
it's grotesque and it's horrendous.
And he called him out. He gave him a gun and gave him reason to kill him.
Right. This is an extremely violent movie. Cartoonishly violent movie.
Yes.
It's certainly towards the end with all the blood flying.
There's a
and all
lot of great violence
and the
towards
vomit
the end.
and the...
Yeah.
It's a world of bandits, the harsh environment, the civil war tensions, the distrust of one another, and the general sort of cutthroat lawlessness of the land at the time. Having said that, though, the gore effects are amazing.
They
the
are.
practical effects are absolutely outstanding. Everybody bleeds in the film. Don't they?
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Everybody bleeds. Everybody suffers.
Yeah. Everybody suffers, don't they?
Yeah. It takes its time, this film. as
Even
you say.
OB doesn't get away, does he? Poor
No,
sod.
no, not at all.
OB gets a really rotten deal in this film.
Indeed. Yeah, with the exception of perhaps John Ruth,
Right.
and to a lesser extent OB, because he's not in it for very long, everybody's carrying a secret.
Yes.
I like how he winds... Going back to the Hitchcockian thing, there's a sort of... It is a really, really long film, but everybody gets the opportunity to engage and to exchange. Everybody has their own little section of the haberdashery, but the tension winds from that initial kind of stagecoach sequence in which the Union and the Confederate forces clash on the stage, to the introduction of the inhabitants of the haberdashery and how they came to occupy the place, and the poisoned coffee, to the reveal of Jodie and the culminating bloodbath. But there is still that tension winding as Warren and Mannix essentially lie dying, presumably with the rest of Domague's gang incoming.
Well, that's the question, is it?
Well,
Are
that's
they?
the tension.
Are they?
There's just
Yeah.
nothing but tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they coming or aren't they coming?
That
Are they
ambiguity.
real? Are
Yeah.
they real?
That's so clever.
When you watch this film, like, it's got a lot of repeat, value.
Sure.
Repeated value.
You have to keep watching it. This
When you
requires-
keep watching, yeah, because I mean, I noticed the bit that I'd watched where you see Daisy Domague's reaction in Minnie's haberdashery when she sees English Pete Hickox is in there.
Yeah.
You see a smile as he goes as she goes in, and she's just standing beside John Ruth smiling for no reason.
Because she knows exactly.
After you've seen this,
Good to see you, mate.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I love about these kind of films. That
Yeah,
they give
so
you a
much
little
real-
bit something
yeah.
extra,
Yeah.
and it's worth. That was worth watching it again because I
Yeah.
got something.
To pick up the clues again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitchcockian, much like the Agatha Christie Poirot stuff, where the little details are sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
And it's just up for you to
And
kind of...
I'll tell you
spot
something
them.
else, and I've said this before about Tarantino's work. He's got such memorable characters.
Yes.
I mean, like,
There are some
I
great
don't
characters
forget. I
in
mean,
here.
and you remember their names: Jodie Demingray,
Yeah, it gives them good monikers.
You know what I
as well,
mean?
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Daisy Domague, and John Ruth,
Hangman.
the Hangman, you know.
Yeah.
They're all names like, you know, Pete Hickox.
Grouch Douglas.
I love Grouch Douglas. He's my favourite name in it.
Sandy Smithers.
I love Grouch Douglas.
Yeah.
And do you know what I love the flirty bit where John Ruth asks for his gun, and Michael Madsen almost gives like a sort of flirt, like a slightly flirty.
Oh.
Did you not notice
I didn't
that?
pick up on that. I thought he was quite resistant to him of all people first.
Resistant, but kind of like in a playful way, kind of like, well, if you want my gun, I suppose you're going to have to take it off me.
I think John Ruth automatically just singles him out as like, oh, he's trouble.
Yeah.
But they kind
and
of...
so does Thingy, and so does Chris Maddox. He's
Sure.
like, I knew it was you, Joe Gage. I knew it was your ugly ass.
Right.
And stuff like that, isn't it?
They kind of all suspect him, and he is obviously a scumbag.
Do you love the bit where they put that bit where there's the shooter and he goes, don't shoot, I ain't got no weapon, or something, doesn't he? You gotta listen.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Walton Goggins is amazing. Not seen him in much else before this, to be honest.
I've seen him in the second Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
Ant-Man and the
he is.
Wasp, he was in
for
that.
sure, yeah. Did you see that before this? I can't remember.
No, I've seen, this is the first thing I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, I think so.
And I actually thought to myself, I'd like
Great
to see...
name, though, isn't it? Walton
Walton
Goggins.
Goggins. I love the name Goggins.
Yeah. He's got like a proper Western name as well.
Isn't it?
His name is
And
a
Walton
Tarantino
Goggins.
name.
And he's got a Western voice, isn't he?
He sure has.
Yeah. I actually like him. I'd like to see him in more stuff, to be honest.
Ditto. Okay, so what are your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts on this is I usually hate Westerns, but
I love them.
the Great Silence that we reviewed a while
Please
back.
check out our previous episode on Sergio Corbucci's The Great Silence.
This is very much, to me, like The Great Silence, I think.
And Django.
Yeah. But not so much like Django.
No,
I think more like The Great Silence.
Yeah. I think Django Unchained is more like Django, personally.
Yeah. I just think... I think if you like plays,
Yeah,
I think you are going to
certainly.
love really wordy...
Chamber pieces.
Yeah, where you're going to enjoy a whole set piece and you're just going to follow characters just chatting and talking and pick up clues, and you've got to watch the people. That's the thing. You've got to watch their facial expressions. Watch how Sanford Smithers looks really frightened when they first come in the haberdassery. Very tense.
Yeah.
Very hit up. Why? Until you've watched the film, then you'll go back and you'll go, oh yeah, well, no wonder he looked like that, or no, you know. There's all these little bits that you pick up and you're like, oh yeah, smile there, a little sly look here.
Yeah.
You pick it all up after
it just requires so many repeat
Yeah.
viewings. Yeah, just
And
to
it
pick up on
gives
those
you-
nuances and
Yeah.
those details.
And if you like this
those
film...
little glances, as you said, Jennifer Jason Leigh's Daisy Domergue sort of giving the, what's up?
Yeah.
When she comes in.
the first time I saw this film, I saw it by other means necessary. And then we went to see it at the cinema, didn't we?
Well, I thought we both saw it first time there.
No.
Okay.
And then I watched it again that week.
Oh.
Because I loved it so I really liked it the first time I watched it, and then I was like, I want to go to the
That's
cinema.
like 10 hours of your life.
Yeah, I want to go to the cinema. Yeah, but these big films, I love
Have you
these big
seen? Because
films.
there's like 160 odd minute like theatrical cut. There's a director's cut. There's a full cut. Right? There's like a 200+ minute one.
What, longer than this?
I think so. Just off the top of my head, there's like a 200+
I know there's one
minute
on, they've talked about on Netflix in
Yeah.
America where it's done in bits.
It's done in segments. And
Yeah.
it's literally, I think it's literally every scrap of film that Tarantino
Right.
shot for the movie as well.
I'm not sure I really want to see anything
Yeah, I was wondering
more.
that. I haven't personally seen it. I wondered if you'd had.
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I know of it, but I personally think this film was fine for the... I mean, in Tarantino's films, unfortunately, there are always scenes where, you know, they're more drawn out than maybe you'd want them to be.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
But then in some ways they work. Like I said at the beginning of this film, the drawn out theme and then seeing all the landscape and sort of Tarantino introducing you to, this is what you're going to be looking at, you know.
It kind of also complements that sense of dread as well, because that bleak
And in a way, it's kind of like a hell as
atmosphere.
well, isn't it?
Again, you lose all salvation.
Because the last episode's called Black Man, White Hell, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
So the White Hell is actually, he's sort of saying, although it's beautiful, it's not really beautiful. It is hell.
Yeah.
What you're looking at is cold hell, not
What do you
burning
think
to
of
death hell.
Tarantino's performance in this as the narrator?
I thought it was very smooth.
Beautiful voice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It
He's
is
like,
really good.
he was like, in the last half an hour, Daisy Domergue. And that's why, I like it though, the fact he actually goes, and that's why this chapter's called Domergue's Got a Secret. I'm like, you actually, yeah, but we knew it was called that, but you're actually going to tell us what it's called.
Jason, just an aside, I think you've got a voice for voiceover.
Do you?
Yeah, hot stuff. I would recommend John Carpenter's The Thing. There are certainly many parallels with this.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, Morricone,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
An Unseen Threat.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If you'd like to see this, but a horror version,
Yeah.
basically it's
To be
the
honest,
thing, isn't
if
it?
you just want to watch a great film in general, watch the John Carpenter's The Thing. It's
Yeah,
one of-
definitely.
one of the great films in my opinion. Anything Agatha Christie, certainly the Poirot stories. I was thinking
Knives
also,
Out, maybe?
Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've
Maybe
not
if you
yet
want to see a
seen
modern...
Glass Onion, so I don't know if I can vouch for that.
I can't comment. I've heard
so-
people really like it, and then for me, I weren't that into it.
Also, perhaps I don't know if you've seen it, but John Ford's Stagecoach. No. Okay, so it's another Western.
I haven't seen many westerns because, to be honest, in general, I don't like westerns, but I love this western.
Sure, you might really, I would really recommend if you ever have a mind to go down like a full-on spaghetti western route. Get some of the old Klaus Kinski's, the old Thomas Millian kind of stuff.
Right.
Just incredible work. John Wayne. So Stagecoach is a John Ford movie about 8 strangers sharing a stagecoach as it passes through deadly Apache territory.
Okay.
Really, really good movie.
Yeah.
There are some parallels to
Yeah.
this movie as well. Join us again as we'll be discussing The Flash and Batman 89.
Oh, I can't wait because I'm going to tell you, people, the Batman 89.
You didn't know we were going to do this.
No, I
just
did-
sprung
I
That's why I
didn't.
asked you whether or not you want to see The Flash.
I didn't know we were going to do Batman 89 because that's one of my
I
favourites.
had an alternative. We'll do the other one. We're going to get to Die Hard and Taking You to Beverly Hills one day. We've got another episode before then. I'm
Yeah.
going to spring upon you. But yeah, The Flash,
Batman 89.
the forthcoming Flash movie with Ezra
Yeah, I'm
Miller.
so excited.
Because I thought it kind of worked well. Because you've got
will.
the great. We can just talk about Michael Keaton for.
Oh my god! Do you know
17
what?
hours.
We'll talk about him in anything. We'll talk about him in Batman, Beetlejuice, Mr. Mom. I love him as Mr. Mom. Oh, the
Please
guy's a
check out
legend. Birdman.
Our recent Beetlejuice episode if you want. He were Jason and I were John. You can find me on Letterboxd. I am at Bastard You Are.
I am Kerja_Relon.
How is that spelled?
KERJA_RELON.
There will come a time when I won't have to ask that.
Oh, I like you to ask me that.
Okay. You can follow us on social media.
You can with Cinemattraction_podcast. And we'll be letting you know each week what we'll be discussing.
Yeah. Do apologise for the upstairs banging that you might have heard.
Yes,
during
we're
this.
really sorry because we
talked at you specifically talked at the most sultry level today.
Oh, did I?
in
Oh,
this.
thank you. Because
Yeah.
I have to
we've
admit,
got-
I've really enjoyed doing this, and I've really enjoyed watching these films because when Tarantino hits it, he really hits it. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh.
He really hits the, they call
He hits
sweet
the
spot, don't they? That
he
sweet
certainly
spot.
does. Yeah, he knows how.
You go, oh, that just fits in that
He's a
sweet
master
spot.
filmmaker. I'm curious to see because he's now starting to cast his next movie, isn't he?
I mean, I would even go on record as saying like Hateful Eight is probably one of my top 10 favourite films. I'd have to.
Still, it'll be Pulp Fiction for me, mate. If we were going to put like a top 10
Yeah.
films and have one film per director,
Yeah.
Tarantino's Pulp Fiction would be there before
Right.
this.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, we have to do a top 10. We did a top 10 episode once and it never saw the light
we
of
did a
day.
lot. Yeah, when we were first doing this,
Yeah,
weren't
and
we?
Yeah, so
It was like 2.5 hours long or
it's like
something, wasn't it?
yeah, it was ages to cut as well. So we just listed off our favourite films. So they might not see the light of day, or we might do it again one day. With
I think we
fresh.
could. I think we could do it. And also, there's something else.
Do it
that
the
will-
50th episode. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Do our top 10.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. That'd be
How about
cool. Yeah. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, because we really enjoy doing it, and if you enjoy listening to it, please give us a like and subscribe, and even a comment. Just let us the thumbs up in the comment section
Let us
on
know
YouTube.
what you think, people.
Just let us know that you're enjoying it, or
I can see you watching.
you know, we are watching everything.
Be excellent to each other.
Yes. Thank you, and
Okay, love you. Bye. Love you, boy.
Attendez la crème.